Hey folks, welcome to our next exit. It's February 26th today, so there's 2 more days left in the month, but I've been working on our February expense report, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the video today simply because tomorrow we've got a RV technician coming out to work on the RV, and the next day we're driving down to Miami, and I just don't know when we're going to get some free time over the next few days. Shortly after that, our friends Brian and Con, they're heading out on Friday morning from up in northern Nevada, around Reno, Nevada, and they're driving almost 3,500 miles down here to meet us down in the Keys. So we're going to be pretty busy, and I think a lot of our viewers are kind of waiting on this February expense report, so we're going to put it out a couple of days early. There may be some adjustments that we have to do to it, but I don't think so. We're not going to be out and about spending money the next few days. It's supposed to rain today and tomorrow both. So I think this is pretty close. We'll make the adjustments if we need to and then catch you up next month. So to start with, a lot of you know this, but I have to kind of run through this every time. Just for the new folks, we are a retired couple. We live mostly off our Social Security, and we have some savings. We have no bills at all. Our RV is paid for, our car is paid for. We are a member of Thousand Trails. That's a membership campground program. We purchased our membership for $4,000 2 years ago, back when we decided to start the RV lifestyle. I'll put a link up here to explain about Thousand Trails if you don't know about it. Thousand Trails gives us approximately 80 parks that we can camp in nationwide, and as you can see, they're scattered around the outside edges of the country. That's generally where we stay, where we travel through. Currently we're down here in Florida. We're going to go down to the Keys, and then we're going to be heading up to the Pacific Northwest for the summer of 2019, and then we'll winter in Arizona the winter of 19 and 20. We're also a member of Trails Collection, which gives us another roughly 100 parks, I think. It costs $199 a year, and we can stay at those parks for free. Some of them we have to pay $20 a night, like at Miami Everglades. That one's $20 a night, but most of them are free. And we are a member of RPI, which gives us another 150 or so campgrounds. That's the red ones here that we can stay at for $10 a night. So those 3 campgrounds memberships is what we use for where we stay. And occasionally, like we go to Niagara Falls, or we're going down here in the Keys, we're going to be staying. We got a site that's like $180 a night, but we want to be right out on the ocean. It's on the Keys. We've got an outside site where the beach is just right out our front door, and that's where our friends Brian and Con are going to meet us at. And so occasionally we do spend these higher end campsites, but then we go back into Thousand Trails and camp for free for the next month or 2, and so it averages out pretty nice. So that's, in a nutshell, that's our lifestyle. Thousand Trails campgrounds, no bills, living mostly off our Social Security. Let me kind of go over the spreadsheet a little bit. As you can see, these columns are the months, and this video is going to be about February of 2019. So these numbers will populate here in a minute as we go through. And this column here is the last 12 months, so from February of 2019 back to March of 2018. This column here is that number, the last 12 months divided by 12 will be our monthly averages. And this is a column that we've added to kind of get a better average of stuff. Our expenses have been going up over the last 12 months. We've just been spending a little bit more money. A lot of it is due to maintenance on the RV and on the car. And we've gone on the East Coast, we've spent a little bit more money on extra campsites and stuff just because we've never been here before. We'll probably never be here again. And so while we're here, we spend a little bit extra money. So this kind of draws that average out to give you a better picture over a longer period of time. This row, we keep track of our daily fuel cost per night, our daily average fuel cost per night, and our average campsite fees per night. So whatever we spend in the month for diesel, we divide that by the number of days, and that's our daily diesel expense, in the same way with campsites. So that being said, that kind of explains the spreadsheet. Let's kind of get into some numbers. For February, we drove 304 miles. We moved 3 times. That's from, we moved 3 times. We went to the Lazy Days RV sales and service over in Tampa. That's about 50 miles from where we're at now. So that's where we ended up. January, we were still there. We got out of there on like the 13th to 14th of February. We spent 21 days there having repairs done. And so we got out, we drove over to Lake Magic. That's one of the Trails Collection Parks. We spent one night, and then we came up to Orlando RV Park for 2 weeks, and that'll be through the 28th. And then on the 28th of February, we're going to go down here to Miami Everglades. And we're going to be down in this area here all month. We'll be here for a couple days. We're going to spend about a week down here in the Keys, and then a couple more weeks in the Miami Everglades to kind of explore this part of the country. And then we'll be back up here to Orlando for a couple of days, or a week rather. So we moved 3 times. We got 28 days in 1,000 Trails, and you might not make sense because we were over in the repair facility for a couple of weeks of this month, but we had reservations at 1,000 Trails and Trails Collection Parks because we didn't know when we were leaving, so we didn't cancel our reservations. Like every day I'd cancel it right before we were supposed to be there, but I never knew when they'd finish up, and then I'd leave today. I wanted to make sure I had a place to go, so we didn't chalk any of that up. We had our we had our campsites ready for us for whenever we got out of the park. So no nights out of the system. We spent no money on diesel. We still got about 3/4 of a tank, so I think it's a couple hundred miles down to Miami. So we probably won't fill up all the way down there. If we do fill some up, we'll roll that into March's fuel expenses if we do buy some on the 28th, and we'll include it next month, but probably we won't be buying any. Campsites, like I said, we have we renewed our Escape Easement annual membership. That was $38. We at Miami Everglades, we have to pay $20 a night. It's a Trails Collection, and those are free to us except for about a dozen or so of their nicer parks. They charge, or high demand parks, they charge $20 a night. So for the 28th, we've got one night at $20 a night. And then the $68, that's our Trails Collection and our 1,000 Trails annual dues. So it's $600 plus $190, about $800 divided by 12. We put $68 in each month to kind of average that out, and then we pay it in June every year. So for the last 12 months, we've averaged $10.92. For the 21 months we've been doing this full-time lifestyle, we average $11.28. For the last 12 months, we're averaging 645 miles, but for the 21 months, we've averaged 710. So it's more miles per month and lower fuel prices. So that's gone up. So the 1128's gone up because we're driving more miles. Fuel prices are lower down here in Florida, but we're driving about 50 or 60, 65 miles more a month, 10 gallons of fuel a month more. Campsites, for the last 12 months, we've averaged $8.28, but for the 21 months that we've been doing the lifestyle, we're averaging right at $7. And that's because we mostly were in 1,000 Trails until we got to the East Coast. The East Coast, we've got some expenses. Up in Maine, we stayed right on the ocean for a week, and then at Niagara Falls, those are all $100 a night or more than $100 a night places. So anyway, that's our averages. And for February, we're averaging $4.50 for campsite fees and $0 for diesel cost. So as you can kind of see, these numbers explain themselves. Motorhome Repair. Our Motorhome Repairs, as I mentioned earlier, we were at Tampa at Lazy Days Sales and Service for 3 weeks. And while we were there, this here's the general numbers. I'm not going to go over the specifics because there were some items that didn't get done. There were some issues with the service that was done on our coach. We've got put out, I think there's like 4 videos on this Lazy Days experience, and I'll put links up here, and we'll put links at the end of the video. There's Lazy Days part 1, 2, 3, and 4, I believe it is. And to Lazy Days' credit, they saw the video. Some of their customers mentioned to some different managers while they were in Lazy Days about our videos, and Lazy Days has watched them. They reached out and contacted us, and we visited. They had all the managers in a room, talked to us on the phone, and I just basically told them it's not worth our time and energy to come back to Lazy Days, and they agreed we want to fix these things and make it right. And we just were not interested in going back. We want to get down to Miami and the Keys, and I don't want to get stuck in there again. And they said, you don't have to come back. We'll send somebody to you. Let us make it right. We are embarrassed by the things on the video, and if that is accurate, we want to make it right. So what they did is hired an independent mobile tech to come here and do this. Totally independent, doesn't work for Lazy Days and Associated, just Lazy Days hired them. 2 guys, Hector and Felix, came over, and they were totally awesome. I have to take my hats off to Lazy Days. They could have sent their own guys, but I don't know that would have, I don't know if we would have got where we need to be had they done that. But sending these independent guys, I felt very comfortable with them. They were not on anybody's side. They told me some things that the roof ceiling I thought should be redone. They went up and looked, and they said, no, this is quite adequate. This is a good job. They said, we will reseal it if you want us to. We brought the tools and the material to totally strip everything off and redo it. As Lazy Days had told them to make it right, whatever it needed. And we both agreed, no, we don't need to do that. So I put these numbers in here. $1,000, we had to replace the windshield, it cracked. We did $2,500 for a service and inspection package they did. We had a crack in a exhaust pipe coming from our turbo. They replaced that. Replaced 2 slide motors. Our leveling system wasn't working, and that's what started the whole problem. We got a new touchpad and some air solenoids. Like I said, resealing the roof, and then taxes and miscellaneous. It's a little over $10,000 next month, because there's going to be some adjustments, I'm thinking. It could go up, could go down, because when they were over here working on the slide, that motor didn't fix it. Lazy Days replaced 2 motors. One of them was great, but that slide's working great. The other motor's pretty much the same, and it's popping and sticking. And all Lazy Days it did was put in a new motor for like $600 and lube it up. Well, the service techs, RV service, they checked the voltage, and my thought, well, I had an electrician look at it a month or so ago, and he said he thought it was voltage, either bad ground or somewhere we was losing voltage. And that's the first thing these guys did, and they said we're losing 2 volts coming out of the little plug-in back by the power supply. There's a circuit board there, and so it's down around 10.5 volts once it's just leaving there. And then when when it gets to the motor, it's like 8.5 volts. And they said, no, it's not the motor. The motor's not getting enough voltage, and that's increasing the amp draw, and the higher amps is what shuts it off. Whenever it hits like 20 or 30 amps or 40 amps, some number, that shuts the motor down. That's how the slide knows when it's all the way out or all the way in, or there's too much resistance. But anyway, while they were working on that, our roller gears totally snapped, broke. So they overnighted a new one. I'm probably going to have to pay for that. but there's several things they're going to replace. They're going to be here tomorrow, and it's going to be raining, but we're going to work in the rain and try to get it going so we can leave Thursday to make our meet up with our friends coming from Nevada. So anyway, 10,000 bucks there. A number of our viewers that have watched the videos, they gave me a number, maybe we could just take all that out and put it as a one-time expense or something. But after thinking about it, I mean, it's an expense. We're all big boys. You're living this lifestyle. This could happen. It happened to us. Lazy Days has got 240 bays, and as you can see, there's people coming and going all the time. There's full of people every day that think this won't happen to me. But you're driving your RV or your fifth wheel or your trailer down the road, things are going to happen. We're kind of on the extreme. There's a lot of people got it worse than us, but most people probably won't have the kind of maintenance issues we've had over specifically the last 6 or 9 months. But you need to be prepared because it could happen to you. So you need to have you a budget. An emergency fund budget. And if it's not your RV, it'd probably be your car, or it may be your health, or it could be just about anything that's going to happen. You need to have some reserves to take on this lifestyle, and then hope it don't happen and spend it on a cruise or something next year. But that's how we handle this $10,000 maintenance bill, and it's just in there. Over the year, over the 21 months, we're averaging $900 for maintenance. And that's probably, I think we had about $500 a month budgeted. And I didn't think we'd spend that much because I do all of our maintenance myself. And I bet a lot of people budget $500 a month. This year, we spent $1,500 a month. And so that's just crazy. I don't think too many people budget for that. We spent $17,500 in the last 12 months on RV maintenance, and that's just a lot of money. I don't think it's not going to happen to you. You're not going to do this lifestyle very long if this happens to you very many times. But that's how we handled it. Hopefully that makes some sense. Look at the videos and you'll get a better idea for what that money was spent on. We have it detailed for every month. You can go back and look. And if you want a copy of this spreadsheet, I'll be happy to send it. I'll put our email up here. Send me an email. Don't leave me a comment. Leave me a comment, like the video, give it a thumbs up. But if you want a copy of it, send me an email at this address that I put on the screen, and I'll send you a copy, and it'll have these numbers in there, and then on the second page, I'll blank it out so you'll have a blank spreadsheet, and you can plug in your own numbers if you'd like to do that. Okay, so now, and we've had some trouble with our automotive maintenance also, but not near to the extent. We spent $215 on the car, $95 for gasoline. We hired one of the teenagers that lives here in the park. We gave him $10 a wheel to polish the wheels. They hadn't been polished and they were starting to get kind of cruddy, and then we had it washed. So that's the car. Our insurance, we pay $14.59 for our insurance on our Class A motorhome. We pay $8.36 for our car insurance, and we have a $1 million umbrella policy, $277. We add all those numbers up, divide by 12, and we put $214 a month in here for our insurance. Groceries and Liquor, it's up $9.94. I think we probably bought, that counts everything we buy at a grocery store, and liquor we get, it goes in there too. And in the last month, our liquor bill has gone up. As I mentioned last time, I'd quit drinking hard liquor. We have a glass of wine every night, and hard liquor came back into the menu with our last month. It's been a crazy month. For the year, we've averaged $860, $867, and for the 21 months it's $861. So I think that's probably a pretty good number for us. But like if we buy dog food at the grocery store, it goes in groceries. If we buy, cleaning, paper supplies, anything we buy at the grocery store goes in here. So there's a lot of items in here that we just don't detail out and give their own line item. That's just too much work. So that's what we average. Dining out, $286. That's roughly what we average. You know, that's pretty self-explanatory. Internet and cell phone. Our cell phone budget changed a little, or expense, and I don't know why. But anyway, we have 2 cell phones that we get 15 gigabytes for a hotspot on each one that we can, you know, use on our computers and stuff. And then we have one little jetpack that we've had for a year or so. We get 15 or 20 gigabytes at high speed, and then it gets throttled back. And that all costs $150. And then we also have a $65 jetpack that's on a newer Verizon plan. It's $65 a month, and you can get unlimited data on that, and that works great. DirecTV, $66. Medical, we have our Part B Medicare. It went up in this year. It's $135 for each of us, and our Part D, that's our medical, that is $30. That went up also a piece. And then we have our Part G Medigap insurance. Pearl's is $115, mine's $122. All of them went up. And then I bought some eyeglasses for $133. So we divide all those annual expenses, like everything, we divide it by 12, and then that's the number we put in our monthly expense. It's been running $572, and it was running lower, but we didn't have the Part G's until that whole time. We started that, I think, in January or December of this year. Pet care. We're taking Tinker to the groomers. Pearl's getting ready now. She's going to go to the groomers, and that's kind of expensive, but they last time supposed to have been like $50, and they jacked it up. So I put in the same amount. It's the same place that they charge us. So hopefully that goes back down to $45, but we'll see. Recreation. Playing some bingo. Pearl bought her a new fancy lawn chair outside. We put miscellaneous stuff in this item too. It's got gas struts and stuff on it, and it rocks. Pretty nice little chair. But that's what that is. Computer hardware. Got a new computer a few months ago, and it came with McAfee. But Joe, the computer guy, he said he just didn't really like that one at all. He advised me to get Bitdefender. And the McAfee expired. There's like a 90-day free subscription. So I uninstalled McAfee and put on Bitdefender, and he uses the free version, but I'm just not smart enough. I need somebody to hold my hand, so I bought it. Clothing. Pearl bought me my new shirt. She bought me 4 or 5 shirts. We got our friends coming down from Nevada, so she's trying to pretty me up just a little bit so she won't be too embarrassed to walk down the beach with me. I think's the true story. Mail, no mail. So here you go. Here's some pretty scary numbers. We really thought this lifestyle was going to cost us $40,000 or less a year. First we thought it was going to be about $70,000 a couple of years before we got into it. And then with a little more research and stuff and this 1,000 trails, we decided we could do it for around 40. But it's just been going up and up and up. Since we have been on the road, so $50,000 is what it's cost us to average for a year, for 365 days, for the whole 21 months. But for the last 12 months, $57,000 is what it's cost the last 12 months, and that's basically all for maintenance. Here it's got the maintenance added in, but it's spread out over 21 months, all our stuff. But that's still a big number. That's a way bigger number than we thought. But there is a little bit of light at the end of this tunnel. Here is some extra stuff that's in this budget that we have purchased that a lot of you are not going to be purchasing. In this number, $16,500 in extras. And in that number, we spent a little over $2,000 for our drone and some items to go along with it. Photo equipment for our YouTube channel, we spent over $3,000. We bought 7 new tires for our Lincoln. We bought some had the brakes redone on the Lincoln. On windshield, $1,000 because we cracked the windshield. Our leveling system broke. We had to get a new touchpad and some stuff, $1,000. That exhaust pipe to the turbo, $1,000. They had the roof resealed, $1,500. The slide motors, we spent almost $2,000 on the slide motors and the seals, and a $2,500 service package that was, I'm not totally sure, $16,500. Especially if you're a do-it-yourself kind of maintenance guy. That's not taking out all of our maintenance by any means. That's just the big items and the big accessories that probably most of you are not going to buy. So you take $1,600 from here, the last 12 months, that put us right at $40,000. You take $16,000 away from our 21-month total expenses, that takes you down to $35,000 a year. So I think a lot of you will not have these expenses that we've got in our numbers here, and so it's still a realistic number. $35,000 to $40,000 is probably the number you need. You need to be prepared in case you do get some big problem. I mean, anybody's roof can go out, anybody's, there's just a lot of expensive things that can go wrong. So you need to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. And $35,000 to $40,000 is a pretty, I think, safe number to budget for this lifestyle. But you sure need to have a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 safety net built in there. So that's our budget. That's the numbers. It's going to adjust a little bit. We'll square it away in March. Wish us luck. We still have to have some final dealings with Lazy Days and get settled up, but to their credit, like I said, they've got a complete third party coming in resolving all of this. I don't know that they do that for everybody. I think our YouTube channel probably has helped us, but I do know they have a brand new person and a brand new position called Vice President of Customer Experience, and that's for sales, for maintenance, for everything. And that's who these techs are reporting to, I believe. And that tells me that they realize that they need to improve on their customer service. Some issues, I think they need that position really bad. And I'm going to leave it there. We'll wait till it settles up. I'm going to have some thoughts and opinions, but we'll wait and see how this ends up. If you like our channel, please consider subscribing to it. We're trying to put out good information for retirees and for the RV lifestyles. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want a copy of this video, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to send you a copy. And until we meet again, hopefully we've got some good videos down in the Keys. That ought to be some beautiful stuff. We'll get the drone out and put out a video here, and a happy video here in the next couple of weeks. So keep the wheels rolling. Stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit. Bye-bye, folks.